Tickets on sale 9 a.m. today.
Well, we're always talking, aren't we, and seeing in the news those youngsters, and they always seem to be getting younger and younger, who are making millions from creating apps and either just selling them on various app stores across various platforms or whatever sort of smartphone you've got, or flogging them to companies like Yahoo for millions of pounds at a time. I look at them jealously. Let's talk to one of them now. Ben Medlock, co-founder of SwiftKey, a keyboard app for Android phones. Good to see you this morning, Ben.
Hi.
We are looking at a new revolution. I mean, people are comparing it to the sort of internet bubble that we saw, 15 years or so ago. But I mean, this is a whole new market opportunity, isn't it, for people who can just kick their brain into gear?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. It's completely new. It allows people to do things that would have just been unthinkable. I think for SwiftKey, the app ecosystem was a complete bonanza for us, really. There's no other way we would have been able to get that technology into people's hands.
How easy is it to get into the system, to work out how to actually get an app together from an idea and then get it onto the various platforms?
Yeah, I think whilst the opportunity is new and very exciting, what's also true is that there are a lot of people designing apps. There's been this absolute explosion. I think, close to 1 billion different apps now. And, this is definitely an area where it's not easy to get recognized. So you really do have to do something that stands out. I think you have to have a great product, number one, but then you have to be a bit smart, and you don't have to have a lot of money to do it, but you do need to be smart about how you get your app recognized.
Is this why, though, we say, it fills us all with, I think when you hit your 30s, I think anyone in their 20s who starts to be making shed loads of money, you do feel intensely jealous. But is the nature of this that because you don't need a lot of money, you're not looking at startup costs, you're looking at primarily ideas? Is this why we're seeing the youngsters doing so well? Because they are actually seeing all this technology in use and coming up with these unique ideas?
Yeah, I think it's an emerging market. So it's a market that youngsters are familiar with. People who kind of grew up with computers, now smartphones. I think you understand it more just because you're immersed in that culture.
And what for companies and people like you come up with a great idea like SwiftKey. You can see how it works in operation. You can flog it to other platforms and what have you as well. But do you then stick on and develop that, or do you look at developing an entirely new approach? I mean, how do you take it forward?
I think with SwiftKey, we're trying to solve this on the one hand simple problem, which is how do you help people to type more easily. But the technology behind it is really very complex, and we're always feeling that there's so much more we could do. And for us, I think it's both about taking that idea and making it more and more compelling by making the technology smarter and smarter. But at the same time, once you have an idea, you almost get hooked on this bringing an idea from a seed to something that really makes a difference. So I think for SwiftKey, the keyboard certainly is not the only idea. There's a broad range of things we would love to do.
Don't give anything away. Don't give your ideas away on here. We've been talking about apps quite a lot though this morning because there's this growing concern over apps where they have in-app purchases. Yeah. And that seems to be, for some people and their kids are clocking up thousands and thousands of pounds of extra charges. Does that need to be tackled, do you think?
Yeah, this is clearly an issue, and there must be an obligation on the app providers to make it clear what their strategy is in terms of monetizing. On the other side, I do think that this is a market that's changing all the time. There aren't norms.
Is that the problem? Is this a pitfall of an emerging market?
I think it's while the market balances. And I think a solution to this particular problem may be some kind of cap that allows apps to monetize because they have to find a way to do that, but that protect users and particularly children at the same time.
Yeah. Do you know what, Ben, really good to talk to you this morning. I look forward to seeing what else SwiftKey comes up with. Thanks very much indeed.
Appreciate it.
Let's get a check on the sporting headlines. Charlie?
Stephen, thanks. Sergio Garcia surprised himself on day one of the Masters, putting him